As a service animal handler, service providers are not asking me questions or clarifying about Prevail. There were some physical businesses that attempted to deny to accommodate Prevail and I just because Prevail is a cat. These businesses assume that service animals are dogs only in New Brunswick, Canada. Under the New Brunswick Human Rights Act, cats are legally recognized as task-trained service animal here in New Brunswick, Canada. Service providers can ask 3 questions to the service animal handler. The first question is this animal an emotional support animal that provides comfort for treatment to your disability? Or is this animal task trained as a service animal to mitigate your disabilities? The second question is, what specific task or work can your service animal do to help mitigate your disabilities? The third question a service provider can ask is request documentation to the service animal handler. The medical note or letter needs to be written by a licensed medical professional. It needs to include clarifying that the animal is a task-trained service animal, that the service animal handler needs to rely on a task-trained service animal for their disability without disclosing specific details about their disabilities. A service provider cannot ask questions or details about the service animal handler's disabilities or diagnosis. The service provider cannot ask or demand to demonstrate the service animal's ability to perform the service animal's work or specific task. New Brunswick Human Rights Commission had created a poster about accommodating people with service animals. What is a service animal? A service animal is an animal that has been specifically trained to perform specific task or work for a person with a disability. Dogs are the most common service animals, but other animals like cats can also be used. Emotional support animals does not mean the same thing as a service animal. They are not interchangeable. They aren't another word for one another. Emotional support animals provide comfort to a person with a disability. They are not task trained. Under the New Brunswick Human Rights Act, emotional support animals have the same right to access public services, employment, and housing. Under the New Brunswick Human Rights Act, emotional support animals are not considered pets. Service animals and emotional support animals are protected by the New Brunswick Human Rights Act. The fastest way you can search up information about service animals and emotional support animals is through a Google search, or you can go to the New Brunswick Human Rights Commission website. When you are on the New Brunswick Human Rights Commission website, you would need to click on resources, and then you would need to click on guidelines and flyers on human rights topics. And here you will find all the information with human rights. You can click on the full guideline, the poster with accommodating people with service animals, or you can watch a video about accommodating people with service animals. I will be showing you where to find the guideline on accommodating people with service animals. It was published in 2017 by the New Brunswick Human Rights Commission. First, you will need to go to the Government of New Brunswick website. We'll need to scroll down until you see Family, Home, and Community. You will need to scroll down until you see Housing and Property. Next, you will need to click on Rights and Responsibilities of Renters. Now you would need to scroll down until you see Guideline on Accommodating People with Service Animals. The next step is you will need to click on Download File. This is all the information about service animals and emotional support animals in accommodating for service providers, employment, and housing. On page 4, the meaning of service animal. A service animal is an animal that has been trained to perform specific tasks in order to provide assistance to a person with a disability for that disability. Dogs are the most common service animals, but other animals, example, cats, monkeys, birds, and miniature horses are sometimes used as well. Service animal boundaries really matter, and this is why. Interaction with service animals. Service animals are not pets, and no one should interact with a service animal unless the animal's handler gives his or her permission. A distracted service animal is unable to provide assistance for the person relying on the animal for a physical or mental disability. In some instances, a distracted service animal could lead to a serious or even a fatal injury for the person it is supposed to assist. And this is why it is important to ask questions and clarify with the service animal handler. If you have questions about service animals or emotional support animals and you live in New Brunswick, Canada, New Brunswick Human Rights Commission is the best place to ask those questions.